My name is Randy Pitchford. I'm the president of Gearbox Software and director of Brothers in Arms.
I'm Mike Neuman. I'm the writer on Brothers in Arms.
So we're going to show you a deleted scene. This is from a scene called 9 Days Earlier. It was chapter 2 in the game, and we cut it a few months before the end of production for a lot of different reasons, which we'll talk about.
This was actually a really rough cut for me because I actually envisioned this really awesome little scene where he'd introduce all the characters, but we ran into innumerable problems while trying to get this in pacing and acting and just a bunch of stuff.
The guy up on the cot there, that's George Risner. He's actually the tank commander that you link up with at Vierville, and there's a backstory between him and Baker, and we do a lot of exposition with the backstory of him and Baker and some other things that we ended up cutting a lot of that exposition and a lot of that backstory out of the game.
A lot of it involved just Baker and Risner being kind of like high school friends and chums, and involving Baker's dad dying and leaving this one relic to him, this pistol that Risner somehow got. The objective was that this pistol would kind of pass around to people, and it's like the death pistol, they die. So it starts out with Risner having it before he eats it at Dead Man's Corner.
Yeah, everyone in an earlier version of the game, everyone who got this pistol would die, but it was really a symbol of this relationship between Baker and his father, and it helped Baker understand the transition between a soldier's initial duty to his country and really what he arcs to, which is about the brotherhood between soldiers and the commitment to the man next to him. When Baker's father left, Baker as a child didn't understand that commitment.
You'll notice one of the problems we walked into right here is that we've been standing in this tent for about a minute and a half and nothing's actually happened yet. The player just bought this game, he really wants to do something, and no, wait, you gotta watch this guy hold a pistol in front of you. Can't fire it, just look at it. It didn't work right.
Yeah, we found that players really were interested in less about our characters at this point and more in understanding what the game's going to be. So you already went through the first few missions of the game, and you remember what that's like. Imagine if this sequence and what you're about to see was in there as well before you got to play the action sequences.
We're passing the 2-minute mark, and maybe we're going to be let out of the tent here. No, Mac's going to talk to me. Not quite out yet. This is more like, this was totally unneeded. Mac basically like, all right, Baker, we're going to win, and just a little too much hooah here, I think.
We had a lot of hooah in the game that we felt important about at the beginning because these soldiers we always felt were better than us.
It's actually Musa on the left there. He was a character who was supposed to be the 13th of the squad and die on the plane, and this was going to be his introduction. Well, now he's pretty much not in the game because this was cut. So there he is. There's Musa, the 13th squad member. This was actually really interesting and another sad cut, but we got a voice actor and tried to get him to imitate Eisenhower, a very famous photograph from World War II. Eisenhower sounded way too much like Paul Harvey, and this just did not work.
Yeah, imagine, Hartsock's responding. He says, "Are you scared, son?" And Hartsock says, "No, sir.
Look at me, son."
It actually happened. There's a famous photograph of him at Greenham Common and a lot of stories about that, and we wanted to recreate it.
This is also kind of painful. Little Zanovich and Obi here. They didn't get a whole lot in the end of the game, and this is their little interchange about what are the odds we're going to die, and I thought it was pretty funny. But
knowing what you know now about what happens to Obreski in the church tower, it makes this more interesting. But, it was all exposition again, and we're not playing yet. Yeah. So we're just walking around looking at guys and hearing them talk to each other.
This is another good one, a little tidbit for everybody playing. Hartsock does have a daughter, so this is what this little interchange is about. He's scared he's never going to see his daughter again. There's also a way to throw off the player and make everybody think he was going to die, but
that was Cole in the tent there. There's a little Easter egg.
There's McCreary right there. Guy looks like he's 14. Another little Easter egg. Here's Johnny Rivas. You might remember him from the Penny Arcade stuff. He's the one that drew all that, so there you go.
Rivas, you probably also watched die very quickly in Purple Heart Lane.
He went out with honor.
I don't know why I laugh at that. It's so weird, to tell these characters that we care about, and these guys died like the real soldiers did in a lot of cases, horrifically, and somehow there's still humor in this grisly outcomes.
Speaking of humor, this is actually one of the best scenes in the sequence. My favorite in the sequence, definitely. It's Alan describing how he got VD from a waitress broad downtown in England. So he's a little mad, we'll say.
It's interesting. I to Mike's credit, I think it plays out much better on paper than it did with these actors. But I thought this was a really witty piece of dialogue, and I actually missed seeing this go too.
This is actually an interesting lesson we learned. When you record chronologically, the first stuff you do, they're not going to be in their character as much. So this being what we recorded chronologically first and being the game chronologically first made it easier to cut because nothing happens and the dialogue was the weakest. So.
I think if we were to direct this game again, we'd probably record the scene last and record it with all of the actors in the booth together, which was hard to do logistically. Anyway, this is the deleted scene 9 days earlier.
Hope you enjoyed it.